The Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Mr Speaker, as a Canterbury Member of Parliament, I think this bill comes down to a couple of fundamentals as part of the rationale as to why the Labor Party and other parties are opposing it. And I'm mindful, I think one of the most pertinent points is I'm mindful of a quote from the now Minister in the Timaru Herald prior to the 2010 election, where he was wont to say that the reason he sacked ECAN was, to quote him, that, quote, he was worried about the outcome of the 2010 local body elections in Canterbury, unquote. Worried. Now, as my colleague Grant Robertson pointed out, I think I was in Cabinet at the time, and I and a number of other colleagues were quite worried in 2008 about the outcome of that election. But I do note that the Prime Minister didn't go to the Governor-General and request that she cancel the 2008 general election. It happened, there was a result, they won, we lost. That's called democracy. But it is telling, an admission by the Minister, that he was quote-unquote worried about the outcome of the 2010 ECAN elections. So he canned them. And I suppose he then of course made a commitment that that would happen once, that full democracy would be reinstated, and then, sir, he went back on his word, to put it in the most charitable terms we can. He went back on his word. It was a dishonest and disingenuous statement. And then we come to this bill, of course, and we're going to have a little bit of democracy, but at the essence of this bill, the one question that the Minister could not answer or would not answer, I put it to him, many colleagues put it to him, is why he doesn't have faith in the credibility and integrity and skill of the people in Canterbury to step up to the plate and take charge of their own affairs. Now, to be fair, his colleague, Jerry Brownlee, through the Regenerate Christchurch bill, was going to steamroll a pretty dictatorial piece of legislation through. However, to give him credit, he listened to the submissions that were made to him. He listened to the Labor Party and the Christchurch City Council submissions that pleaded with the Minister to allow local people of skill and integrity to have a greater say in their future. And to give Jerry Brownlee credit, he acquiesced and he put a pretty good piece of legislation through. But in contrast, this Minister does not have faith in the people of Canterbury to elect from amongst their number skilled and motivated and responsible folk to take charge and provide further leadership in their region as we move through the recovery and as we move to a sort of, what we've got here is sort of a halfway house of democracy. And if he wanted continuity, what he could have done is he could have had commissioners perhaps as advisors to sit alongside elected people to provide counsel, or if he had great faith, as he says he does, in those appointed commissioners of course have the right to fill in the nomination form and have a crack themselves and stand for election. But the Minister's never been able to tell us why it is that he doesn't have faith in the good folk of Canterbury. No one in government has been able to give a justification for that. Brought them down once, said it wouldn't happen again, said he'd reinstate democracy, said he sacked ECAN because he was worried about the 2010 election result, presumably about the water plan and what would be the outcome of that and who would be elected, and then went back on his word again as we have this piece of legislation. So Cantabrians will sit there today and look at this and scratch their head because their government, and I'll be interested to see if there are any more government members, maybe from Canterbury, who would answer where the Minister would not answer, as to why they don't have faith in the leadership of Cantabrians. They spout a lot of weasel words about Canterbury, a lot of platitudes, but at the end of the day it comes down to whether you believe Cantabrians will elect from amongst their number responsible people of integrity and skill, as there are thousands in that province, who want to step up, want to show leadership and want to take Canterbury to the next step. That's the key question, sir, which I challenge the government to answer.
Not correct.